One of the things as a physician that is really important is to really try to understand the brain injury for each person, because they can be really different and they really give important clues to what are the motor problems for cerebral palsy for that individual. Did you know that the time you have the biggest risk to having a stroke is as a baby, not as an adult? And if you have a stroke to one side of your brain, it can lead to problems sending clear messages to the other side of your body. We call this hemiplegic cerebral palsy, and it can be either on the right side or the left side. One of the important types of injury is a pattern that we see when we're born prematurely or early. And this particular baby is then at risk to have an injury in the area of their brain that runs right beside the fluid-filled spaces. This particular type of cerebral palsy is called spastic diplegia, difficulty moving your legs and having increased tone or stiffness in the muscles on both sides. If you have an injury to both sides of your brain, then you have difficulty sending a clear message to both your arms and your legs, and we call that spastic quadriplegia. And sometimes this is associated with a more significant physical disability. When a baby is born and there's an acute decrease in oxygen or blood pressure, the baby sometimes injures a really important part of the brain called the basal ganglia. What this can lead to in terms of cerebral palsy is a type of cerebral palsy called dyskinetic cerebral palsy. One of the key features of this type of cerebral palsy is a real fluctuation or change in the amount of stiffness in the arms and the legs. Another really important part of the brain is called the cerebellum, and it helps us balance. And sometimes individuals with cerebral palsy can have an injury that involves the cerebellum and leads to problems with balance. We call that ataxic cerebral palsy. One of the biggest misconceptions I find for individuals with cerebral palsy is the public generally thinks that CP is all the same. It's really important to think about the complexities of the brain and the injury, and each individual with cerebral palsy is affected differently. So you really need to take each person as they come, look at their strengths and weaknesses, and go from there.